everyone, I hope you are all safe and healthy with your family and friends. In this video, we are going to learn about how to pass the journal entry with purchases return account and sales return account. Journal entry is most common in each and every business firms and the enterprises, companies, etc. Purchases return is just opposite to the purchases account. Sales return is just opposite to the sales account. If purchases account have debited, but purchases return will have credited. If sales account have credited, but sales return will have debited. Okay. From now onwards, you have to see all the business transaction as an accountant point of view. First, we take the topic is purchases return account. In purchases account or purchases return account, you are the customer. Okay. Before we are going to understand about purchases return account, you have to recollect or recap the purchases account. Say for example, purchases goods from Sriram on credit rupees 50,000 rupees. What is the journal entry? Will pass, you know about it. The journal entry is purchases accounted are to Sriram account. There are two accounts are involved, purchases account and the Sriram account. Okay. While you making purchases with the Sriram, you didn't pay any money immediately, but you promised to Sriram you will pay later. So Sriram is the creditor, you are the liability. How much rupees you are the liability? The liability is 50,000 rupees. Okay. So purchases account data. Why purchases account data? If you purchases any goods, your expenses will be increased, right? You purchase anything, your expenses will be increased. What is the rule of expenses? If the expenses increases, you have to debit the expenses account. So for that, you have to debit the purchases account. Okay, which means that you have to record in journal purchases account data 50,000 rupees. Okay, then to Sriram account. You credit purchases, you made credit purchases with the Sriram rupees 50,000 rupees, you didn't pay anything. Sriram is your creditor, you are the liability, you didn't pay anything. Okay, so your liability will be increased. How much? 50,000 rupees. You didn't pay any money, but you promised to Sriram you will pay later. So your liability will be increased. How much? 50,000 rupees. What is the rule of liability? If the liability will be increased, you have to credit the liability account. So for that, the liability account will be credited, which means in journal entry, you have to record to Sriram account 50,000 rupees. What is the narration? The narration is within the bracket, you have to write credit purchases. We recall it. Okay. Then come to the transaction. This transaction, purchases return. What is the transaction? That is returned goods to Sriram rupees 5,000. What happened? You made credit purchases. You didn't pay any money. Then you received 50,000 worth of goods. Okay. After delivered, you opened the box. Then only you comes to know 5,000 rupees worth of goods were damaged. What happened? Then you decided you have to return the goods back to Sriram, who is your supplier. Before that, what is the meaning of purchases return? Purchases return is nothing but the processing of returning goods to the supplier, which you purchased previously. That is called purchases return. Can you say the other name of purchases return? Yes. The other name of the purchases return is return inward, which means the goods are comes into a business. That is called return inwards, purchases return. Okay. So what happened here? Goods are returned. The damaged goods you returned to your supplier. Who is your supplier? Sriram is your supplier. Damaged goods you returned back to your supplier. How much amount? The goods worth is 5,000 rupees. Okay. So what is the journal entry? The journal entry very simple. Why? What is the rule? The purchases return is account is purchases return account is just opposite to the purchases account. See the purchases account, what you pass the journal entry? Purchases account data to Sriram. What you have to write here in purchases return? Yes, purchase is just opposite. Purchases return account data 5,000 rupees to Sriram account 5,000. Are you clear? What is the narration? It is simple. Returned goods to Sriram. Okay. Let's read next transaction. Paid Sriram full settlement after deducting 5% discount. So you have to calculate for 5% discount, then only you pay the money to Sriram. Okay. What is the calculation? You have to make the calculation. You take previous two transactions. What are they? From the first transaction onwards, you have to make the calculation. What is the first transaction? Purchased goods from Sriram on credit rupees 50,000 rupees. Then you returned back goods worth rupees how much? 5,000 rupees. Now you have to subtract 5,000 from 50,000. What you get? You will get 45,000. Okay. Then after deducting 5% discount only, you have to pay the money to Sriram. Full settlement. Okay. What is the 5% discount? You have to calculate 45,000 into 5% means 5 by 100. Then you cancel it. Then what you get it? You will get 5,250. That is the discount, 5% discount amount. After you deducting 45,000 with 5%, what you get? 5,250 is you received the discount. After that you have to subtract 5,250 with 45,000. What you will get? You get 39,750. This is what you have paid to Sriram full settlement. Okay, or you understand? So what are the accounts are affected? There are 3 accounts are affected. What are they? Sriram account, cash account, and discount received account. Okay. So how you pass the journal entry? It's very simple. Sriram account debtor 45,000. Why? Because Sriram is your creditor. Now you are making payment of like full settlement with Sriram. Okay. So your liability will be decreased. You made credit payment, credit purchases. Now you are making full settlement with Sriram. So your liability will be decreased. What is the rule of liability? If your liability decreases, you have to debit the liability accounts. So which means you have to, in journal entry, you have to record Sriram's account debtor 45,000. Now you making payment to Sriram. How much rupees after deducting 5% discount? You paid to Sriram how much? 39,750. So cash is the asset. If you paid cash to Sriram, your cash decreases, which means your asset it will be decreased. Your asset, if your asset decreases, you have to credit the asset account, right? So which means, so for that you have to credit the cash account, which means means in journal entry you have to record to cash account how much? 39,750. Then how much discount you received? 5% discount you received, right? So discount received comes under revenue, because discount received is a kind of income. So it is your revenue. If your revenue increases, what you have to do? You have to credit the revenue account. So for that you have to credit the discount received account, which means in journal entry you have to record to discount received account how much rupees? 5,250. Listen here carefully. What is the debit amount? 45,000. What is the credit value? There are two values in the credit column. What are they? 39,750 and 5,250. There are two values of that. Now we have to add the two values. What you get? 45,000. So debit column have 45,000. Credit column also have. After we added the two values, we get 45,000. What you understand? Debit is always corresponding equal to the credit side. Okay, what is the narration? The narration is paid Sriram full settlement after deducting 5% discount. That's all. And the next topic is sales return. Before we are going to understand about the sales return, we have to recall or recap about sales account. In previous video we discussed about the sales account. Just now we recall about it. Okay. Say for example, sold goods on credit to Sita rupees 30,000 rupees. What is the journal entry? The journal entry will be simple. That is Sita account debtor to sales account 30,000 rupees. 30,000 rupees. When you made sales to Sita, Sita hasn't paid any money immediately, but she promised to you she will pay you later. So Sita is your debtor. Debtor comes under asset account. If debtor increases, asset also will be increased. If assets increase, you have to debit the asset account. So for that, Sita account will be debited, which means that you have to record in journal entry Sita's account debt of 30,000 rupees. To sales account. If you generate sales in your business, your revenue will be increased. So sales comes under revenue account. If your revenue increases, you have to credit the revenue account. That means you have to credit the sales account. So in journal entry you have to record to sales account 30,000 rupees. What is the narration? Narration is sold goods, credit sales. That's all. So now we recall the sales account. Let's read the next transaction. Sita returned goods worth 6,000 rupees. The returned goods means what? Sales return. What is meant by sales return? Sales return is nothing but the process of returned goods to your goods by your customer. Who is your customer? Sita is your customer. What is the other name of returned goods? Sales return. The other name of sales return is goods inward, which means goods or comes into your business. So here Sita goods returned how much rupees? 6,000 rupees. How to pass the journal entry? Journal entry would be simple. Why? What is the rule for sales return? Sales return is just opposite to the sales account. So for that you have to pass the journal entry sales return account debtor to Sita account 6,000 rupees, 6,000 rupees debit and credit columns. What is the journal entry? What is the narration? Returned goods from Sita. That's all. Let's read the next transaction. Received cash from Sita, full settlement rupees 23,000. Now we have to make the simple calculation from above two transactions. What are they? We take sold goods on credit from Sita 30,000 rupees. We have to take 30,000 rupees from that. Then Sita returned goods worth 6,000 rupees. We have to take 6,000 rupees. So we have to subtract 6,000 rupees from 30,000. What you get? You will get 24,000. But see the transaction, this received cash from Sita, full settlement 23,000. After deducting 6,000 from 30,000, you will get 24,000. But you received cash from Sita, how much rupees? 23,000 rupees. How much differences between 24,000 and 23,000? 1,000 rupees differences. So when you received full settlement cash from Sita, you will give her 1,000 rupees cash discount. Are you understand? So what are the accounts are involved here? There are three accounts are involved here. What are they? Cash account, discount account and Sita account. Okay, cash account. If you take cash account, if you received cash from Sita, your cash will be increases. Cash comes under asset account. If assets are increases, you have to debit the asset account. So for that you have to debit the cash account. Which means that in journal entry you have to record cash account debtor, how much rupees? 23,000 rupees you received. You enter, okay. Then how much rupees you discount, give discount to Sita? You give cash discount to Sita 1,000 rupees. Discount comes under revenue account. Okay. So your revenue, if you give 1,000 rupees discount to Sita, your revenue will be decreased. If your revenue decreases, you have to debit the revenue account. So for that you have to debit the discount account, which means that in journal entry you have to record discount account debtor 1,000 rupees. Discount account debited. Then to Sita account. Sita is your debtor. So if you received cash from Sita, your debtor account decreased. Debtor is comes under asset account. If debtor decreases, your asset will be decreased. So for that you have to credit. If asset decreases, you have to credit the asset account. So for that you have to credit the Sita's account, which means that in journal entry you have to record to Sita account how much rupees? 24,000 rupees. What is the narration? Narration within the bracket you have to write received cash from Sita, full settlement. Just listen debit column and credit column of the received cash. How much amount in debit column? 23,000. There are two values in debit column. What are they? 23,000 and 1,000 rupees. What is the credit column have? 24,000. You have to add two values of the debit column, 23,000 and 1,000 rupees. How much you get? 24,000. What you have in credit column? 24,000. So the debit is always equal to the credit column. Then come to next transaction. Deposited cash into bank 1 lakh rupees. Here you are the owner. You have a cash in hand. How much rupees? 1 lakh rupees cash in hand. Now you are going to deposit that amount 1 lakh rupees into your bank account. Listen carefully. You are the owner. you have cash in your hand, 1 lakh rupees, you decided to deposit that amount into your bank account. Okay, so the cash account and the bank account both are comes under asset account. If you deposited cash into bank, your bank account will be increased, right? So if your bank account increases, your assets also increases. If assets increases, you have to debit the asset account. So for that, you have to debit the bank account, which means that in journal entry you have to record bank account debtor 1 lakh rupees. Then you deposit, you have cash deposited how much? 1 lakh rupees. So you deposited cash means you paid cash. Cash goes out from your business. So cash goes from your business, your asset will be decreases. If assets will be decreased, you have to credit the cash account. You have to credit the asset account. So for that, in journal entry, you have to record to cash account 1 lakh rupees. What is the narration? Deposited cash into bank. Then come to next transaction, that is salary paid through ECS rupees 2000. What are the accounts are involved here? There are 2 accounts are involved here. What are they? Salary account and ECS means bank account. Why ECS means bank account? Listen carefully. ECS, RTGS, NEFT, check, the net banking payment like Google Pay, Phone Pay, and cards like debit card and credit card. These and all are comes under the name of bank account. Okay, so ECS is comes under bank account. So what are the accounts are involved? Salaries account and the bank account. Salary, if you paid salary to your worker, your expenses will be increased, right? Salary comes under the expenses account. When you paid salary, when you paid rent, electricity bill or phone bill, you paid cash in any name, your expenses will be increased. If your expenses increases, you have to debit the expenses account. So for that, you have to debit the salary account, which means that in journal entry you have to record salary account debtor 2000 rupees. Then in how do you pay salary? Through bank. ECS means through bank you paid salary. So bank account comes under asset. So if you paid salary through ECS, that means you paid salary through bank, your asset will be decreases. If your asset will be decreased, you have to credit the asset account, which means you have to credit the bank account. So for that, in journal entry, you have to record to bank account to 1 lakh rupees. Sorry, 2000 rupees. Okay. So what is the narration? Salary paid through bank or ECS. Whatever you want, you can type. Okay. Then come to next transaction. Purchased goods from cost rupees 5000 by paying through debit card. So purchases goods mean you know very well purchases account, how to pass the journal entry. What is the journal entry? Purchases account at 2000 rupees. If you made purchases, any goods, anything, your expenses will be increased. Your expenses will be increases. You have to debit the expenses account. So purchases account debtor. Then debit card. In previous transaction, I telling you what are the names are under comes under bank account, debit card, credit card, net banking like Google Pay, Phone Pay, check, RTGS, ECS, CDM, NEFT. These and all comes under the only name of bank account. So bank account comes under asset. If you pay any payment, if you make any payment through bank, it comes under asset account. So your asset will be decreased. Why? Because you are making payment, you made payment, cash goes outward from your business. Cash goes from your business. So your asset will be decreases. If your asset will be decreased, you have to credit the asset account. So for that you have to credit the bank account, which means in journal entry you have to record to bank account 5,000 rupees. So bank account credited. What is the narration? Purchased goods from Akash, making payment through bank. That's all. Thank you.